Hi everyone, good morning. So this morning I will be talking about how you as an Android developer can get started with GenAI and what you can do in your Android apps. A little bit about myself. I'm Elaine. I work at Sphere here in Paris as a mobile senior staff engineer. I'm a Flutter GDE, but I also do Android. My day job right now is Android development. And also, what is interesting is that I'm a former Google Assistant GDE. So, the product that is getting replaced little by little by Gemini. Here are my socials, my Twitter, my LinkedIn. So don't hesitate if you want to keep in touch to talk. I'm always up to chatting with you about tech. So. In order to go with you through your journey to GenAI, we're going to go through several steps from the very easy ones up until the more expert ones. And actually, the very first step is very naive one. I don't think you even think about it when you're thinking about dev or you're thinking about, okay, I want to improve my skills in GenAI is actually having fun, trying out the experiences. Here I show you some screenshots of this one is the Gemini app, and this one is the ChatGPT app for Android. And actually, I think everyone here in the room has done this. It's actually have fun, ask silly questions, just have a good laugh, and then little by little get to know how these interfaces work. So there are some key concepts behind this, what I just showed you. So as I said, this is ChatGPT and Gemini chat client on Android. And what is going on is that you are sending a prompt. You are sending a prompt to the app that is going up to the server, and then on the server, this is where the inference takes place. When you're reading about GenAI, this is something that you're going to be hearing a lot. The inference is basically a prediction, and of course the prompt I didn't say, but it's basically a command that you give. So there's some prediction that is being made in respect to what you just typed. And then, basically, this is a really simple schema of how things work. You send in words, and then you send the request, and then the system is always looking for the most likely next word through the model that is going to be actually guessing or predicting the next word. So the model where the system works is called LLM, for large language models. So emphasis on the large, because those models, they were trained on really, really big data sets, public data sets. And so just, on the ChatGPT client for regular users right now, the model that is running is GPT 3.5. On the Gemini client is Gemini 1.0 Pro. So as I said, I think everyone here in the room, but I really wanted to, this is a kind of interactive talk, so please tell me. I call people who have tried this just playing with the client, the commoners, because everyone can do it. I can do it, my mom can do it, my grandma can do it, kids can do it. So who here has tried out Gemini, of course, not only the Android app, but the web client, ChatGPT, and so on? Yes, show of hands. So I think pretty much everyone. So we'll go further. I hope everyone will be still up to the task of saying to me if you have tried out the tools or not. So the second step, let's take a step up, and then okay, you tried out, you had a laugh, you're getting used to this interface, but maybe you say, okay, this is interesting, what else can I do? And then you try to do actually better prompting, asking some more narrowed questions, just saying, okay, so the AI is talking to me like with a certain personality, and one thing that you can do is that you can ask the AI to talk with a certain tone or to a certain audience. So, for example, here you can see that the AI can act like a teacher. And also, what is really interesting as well is that you can give more complex information, so you can have some interesting results. So here, for example, I give an example of a list, and then I say, okay, take this list and then create five more items in Kotlin. So this is kind of interesting. So actually giving examples, having some code generated, this is really cool. And then the other way that you can go further is actually you can integrate in your current workflow by using tools that you use the tools that use AI methods, such as GitHub Copilot and so on. Also on Notion, on Gmail, Google Docs, things that, tools that have integrated those methods. So what's behind this, everything that we just saw? When I said better prompting, this is actually prompt engineering. When you are making the request, you're giving an input. So it can be a question, a task, an entity, or you can ask for completion. You can add some context. You can add constraints. You can give examples. Something that you can read also in the literature is zero-shot prompt, one-shot prompt, or few-shot prompt. This is basically how many examples you've given the AI. So for example, here on my screenshot, this is a one-shot prompt because I gave one example. I say, okay, take this example and generate more. And by your use case, one or the other is going to be more optimal. And of course, on the tools, basically what's going on is that you are indirectly using the APIs or the SDKs provided by Gemini, OpenAI, and so on. And other concepts that you may encounter at this stage is that the context window. The context window is how much history the AI remembers. Because maybe here you are having long conversations with AI, so you can, at some point, maybe it starts forgetting things you said at the beginning. So we talk about context window, and we're going to be talking about a little bit further on this talk. So I call those people the workflower, people that have a better understanding of prompt engineering or have used the GitHub Copilot, Notion, and so on. So how many workflowers do you have on the room? Maybe, okay, not that many, maybe 20%, thank you. So let's go further. Let's take the third step. And the third step, of course, okay, start talking about coding. Let's see. The APIs, I'm going to be focusing on the main solutions that we have out there. Google and OpenAI, so Gemini and OpenAI. Google provides an official SDK for Android, so that does text-to-text, text-to-image, and chat. And then OpenAI doesn't offer an official client. This one is, I think it is the one that is listed in their official documentation as an unofficial client, and I think is maybe the most popular one. And let's take a look on how they work, because basically you're using the APIs, and now you have some more control on what you're doing. So you can use, you can pick the models. Here are the models available today for Gemini. The very first one is on preview. Google really brags about this one. It was just launched. And what is remarkable on this, with this model, is the input token limit. I just said before that sometimes we experience issues with the context window, the AI forgetting what you're saying. So with 1 million token limit, this is how many tokens the AI can remember. Of course, it's very capable. It can do a bunch of stuff. It can take images and inputs, but it's actually, I don't remember if I already said it, but it is actually on preview. We can try on Google AI Studio, but not on, it's not available on the API. Sorry. The most popular models today are Gemini Pro and Gemini Pro Vision. Sorry. These are the ones that you're likely to use if you're using the APIs. There are also Embedding API, Embedding API. They transform text to vector representations, and then you can make search, you can make comparisons, you can make other stuff. They are more specialized models. This one also is for embedding, and then there's one for specialized in Q&A. And let's take a really quick look at the API. This is the class, that you have to pass when you're asking a prompt. So these are the these are actually all the parameters. So main one, of course, the model name, your API key, and then you have this generation config where you have several parameters. Here at this point, when you are initializing your generative model, you can also pass some safety settings. So in order to have a response that is filtered with some harm categories. And then you have some other technical parameters as well. I don't show you here, but there's a place also on the code where you actually see how your generative AI model object is going to be sent. It is basically an HTTP request that is going to an endpoint at Google. So actually what this API does is it is helping you with these objects, with these classes, and that's it, and then sending an HTTP request. So OpenAI model, so you have GPT-4, Turbo, GPT 3.5, as I said, on the client. If you're not a non-paying customer, you're using this one. And a difference that we have with OpenAI models is that they have DALL-E. DALL-E is actually generating images. So from text, they're generating images. And another difference is that they consider, well, they put on the listing of all the models, they also put the text-to-speech and the speech-to-text models here. It's not that they don't exist for Google. Of course, they do have this technology, but they just don't consider those models Gemini models, GenAI models. Another thing that is interesting to see as well is that the moderation, in order to do some moderation, to filter some kind of information that you're getting back from the API, you have to make another call and call for some moderation. And then you have some other text-to-text models right here. And again, this is what one of the APIs looks like, some object that you can send, and then here you have the object, the class, that is explaining the things that you can moderate. So what did we see here? We saw there are several categories of things that you can send to the AI as a developer. We talk about multimodality. It is when you're actually doing several. You don't have only text. Maybe have text and images. Maybe on the future we're going to be sending audio, video, and so on. And then we also learned that every model has a purpose. In general, they are general models, but some of them are more specialized. We also saw this word a lot, token. A token is a really important definition that you have to know. One token basically is not exactly, but basically it is 4 characters, more or less. And why is this important? Because when you're talking with these APIs, right now Gemini is free. It is free until Wednesday of next week. So if you want to play with it, this is the time to do, because it will become a paid API. OpenAI, when you just create your account and you verify everything, you have some gratuity, but they are going to be they are not going to be free services. So of course you're going to be paying for the request. as any paid API works, but also by the token utilization. So if you send a lot of tokens, you're going to be paying a lot more. And also we saw that we can configure a little bit our model. There's a bunch of parameters. I'm not going to be explaining what each one does, but I think ones that are worth mentioning is the temperature. Temperature, basically, it means it goes from 0 to 1. If you put it to 1, you're saying to the AI, okay, be as random as you can be, so be as creative as you can be. So you can, for example, for generating bedtime stories and so on, this is the best, the thing that you can tinker with. And if you put 0, it's going to be less creative, and it's always going to be choosing the most likely next token. And if you put to 0, though, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be having hallucinations. Hallucinations is a really big topic on GenAI as well, is when maybe some people here have experienced it, is when the AI is going nuts, is saying really false information. And there are several techniques. We're going to be talking about one, but this doesn't assure that you're not going to have hallucinations. And another parameter also that you can use here is max tokens. So you can limit your usage of the API and pay, and your billing is not going to be looking that big. So these people, I call them the prototypers. What do I call them, the prototypers? Here I put the warning that you have on the Google documentation. Here we are using the APIs directly. We are directly calling OpenAI and Gemini services. This is not the recommended way to do stuff. Google has provided us with the APIs so we can test. So actually we can see what is capable on your app to give, so we can have ideas and so on. But at the end of the day, if you want to really be using this kind of tools, you have to rely the actual call to Gemini, OpenAI, be it, or whatever solution you're calling in the backend. You're not calling directly, you're calling your backend, and then the backend is calling OpenAI or Gemini. But it's really cool to see that we can also use it directly in your app, so it can go really quickly. And so I call this category the prototypers. So how many people have played with the APIs here? Gemini or OpenAI, maybe 5 or to 10%, so pretty interesting. And as I said, it is not supposed to go to production or something like that for real apps, but people have actually published some examples which are really interesting that show some ideas of what you can do. So this one is actually a recipe recommendation that is using Gemini. And here, if you look at his code, that every example that I show is available on GitHub, so you can look for yourself. You can see the prompt, a very, very big prompt that he sends to the API. So basically, when you integrate, there are high chances, except when you're doing a simple chat app. The other way to do it as a developer in order to integrate it in our apps is to ask actually for structured data. So here he's asking for structured data so he can integrate easily on his app. So he's taking some input. This is the template for his prompt. And then simply he's calling the generate content, endpoint through this method. So pretty straightforward. Another example is this person who has integrated, basically, he has done a very naive integration, but he's showing how to do the UI using the things that the API provide you. So interesting. This one thing that is very popular as well is generating stories. So this one's taking a name, a language, and an age, and here you can see the prompt that this person sent to the API, and then you have a beautiful story that is being crafted for you. So before, I'm just going to be so before you can maybe guess that the next step is actually running your code in the cloud, but there is a middle way between things that we use, doing the call directly on the on your phone or doing on the cloud. It is actually using Firebase. Firebase is not that it's not a real cloud solution. Of course, it's a real cloud solution, but it's just so much easier for us as Android developers to integrate with. And Google has provided 2 extensions that you can use directly. So one is specialized in chatbots, one for tasks, and then you can use it. Directly as you use any other Firebase product. And here I show you, I didn't find any Android examples, I'm really sorry, so this is a Flutter code. So this is Dart, so this is only to show you that we are not calling, of course, directly the Gemini API, we're calling Firebase, and this is generating math exercises. And I think this is a web app. So I call them the Sparkers because the Sparky is actually the name of the mascot for Firebase. So anyone has tried out the Firebase extensions for Gemini? One person, okay, cool. And so yeah, this is an actual valid option as well. So you delegate the task to integrating with the API. You're not doing in your backend, you're doing a Firebase. So if you use Firebase, I really recommend it to take a look. So finally, let's talk about the real deal, about really building and really experimenting with GenAI as we should have done with as developers. So let's take the 4th step. And there are actually 2 options for the first step. First option, I already talked about it, is actually going to the cloud and using any cloud providers that offer those kind of AI integrations. So you have the 3 main cloud providers here, so Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, and Google Cloud. And all of them provide several services that you can use to integrate with AI, with ML, and so on. And I'm not going to get into the details here because this is really not my my expertise. But if you're interested, go take a look. Really, really dynamic things. A lot of things are going on with the cloud right now to integrate the AI solutions. So really interesting stuff. So I call those people who actually do GCP in general, GCP or Amazon or whatever. I call them the cloud riders. So who here is doing cloud development in general, or maybe for AI? Yeah, you have 2, 3 people. Okay, really cool. And so here on the first step, as I said, there's the first option is going to the cloud. And what is the other option? Maybe you can guess as well, is actually going local, running those models on your device. And there are a lot of things that you can do on this space. So I'm just going to go through some solutions. I'm going to showcase them. For a lot of them, I'm not an expert at all on what's going on. So it's just for you, if you're interested, you can go, you can look further. But just a disclaimer, I'm really not an expert at all in half of the tools that I'm going to be showing you right now. The very first one is MediaPipe. MediaPipe is the Google solution to be running AI and GenAI solutions directly on the device, on the web as well. Here you have all the solutions. And there are samples repo where you can see that they have an image generation solution and then an LLM inference solution. And the other ones are really fun to play with as well. I can encourage you to do so. But those are AI solutions. We are talking about GenAI today. And here you can see what's going on. This is all coming from their samples repo. So this is some LLM inference that is going on directly on the device, relying on the device GPU, so pretty cool to see. And this other one, this is really cool as well. This is generating images with MediaPipe directly on the device as well. So pretty cool. Really encourage you to look at this. I found this other example. I thought it was really interesting, and I think it can show to you so you can visualize better what one of the things embeddings can be useful for. This person was running embeddings with MediaPipe. So here he's sending some texts. He's he's calculating the embeddings, so he's calculating some vector representation of these embeddings, and then he says, okay, what is the most similar phrase with the one that I'm inputting right here? So he's giving the similarities. So I love playing with my friends. The most similar sentence here is, I like to play with my dog, which totally makes sense, and we do that through embeddings. So I think it was a really worth mentioning. I think it's a really cool, you can do really cool stuff with this. Another example, you can find a bunch of resources on this, is using Keras NLP and TensorFlow to do on-device LLM inference. As I said, a lot of resources. So there's a code lab, there's a YouTube a video on that, and of course the GitHub repo. Where the example he's showing is actually doing autocompletion. So he's doing autocompletion with TensorFlow Lite. Another solution that, if you're interested in GenAI, especially, of course, on the cloud, one day or another, you're going to be hearing about LangChain. As I said before, one of the biggest problems that we have with GenAI today is hallucinations. GenAI saying things that are just not true, or they are not true to our business, or they're not, they're not relevant, or something like that. So LangChain is actually a framework. It's a really big project that is supposed to orchestrate between several models and other tools and agents and a bunch of things that you can integrate in a GenAI app. And basically, they make them work better. One of the most popular use cases that you can use, where you can use LangChain, is for RAG, retrieval augmented generation, something like that. And it is when the most popular way to use RAG is giving documents, for example, giving PDFs of your business or of something that you are trying to have better answers to. So you can do that through RAG and LangChain to orchestrate everything. Also, LangChain allows you to switch models. Maybe you're using a model to do some kind of task, another model to do some other kind of task, so you can switch models in one app. So, as I said, I'm a Flutagiri, so I'm really, I really try to find what's going on the Flutter world. And actually on the Flutter world, I was so surprised because there is a really active LangChain community going on. And one person has built the LangChain Dart, so Dart, the programming language that you use for Flutter. And there are so many people that are trying out this technology inside the Flutter apps, not only because here we're talking about offline use. It's really important for me to say that it can be a solution to offline use, so you can run your LLMs on device, but it doesn't allow you only that. This is one of the things. The orchestration thing is the main characteristic of this solution. And so yeah, if you're interested on this, please check out what's going on the Dart community or Flutter community. But for us, Android developers, I looked, I didn't find, maybe there's something out there that I am not aware, but specifically for Android, sorry, but there is actually a Java port of LangChain. LangChain, if I'm not mistaken, is written in Python. And there's LangChain for J, so for Java, and that is out there. And I've seen some people try to make it work for Android, but nothing too concrete, so I can show you today. But just one tip, if you're interested in that, please check LangChain for J. Then there's LamaC++. LamaC++ is a tool that is, of course, using C and C++. It is a tool where you can actually run an engine for inference on your device or on whatever place you're running your LamaC++ code. So really, really big community as well. And they show you here on their official GitHub repo one way that you can integrate with and use LamaC++ is actually launching it directly. I didn't put you the whole documentation here, but you can take a look if it's interesting. If you're interested, you can run it to a terminal, basically launch the thing and make requests locally on a terminal inside of Android. Of course, we're talking about offline use. One of the steps is actually going to be retrieving the models that you're going to use. I forgot, yes, I had some information that is not in the slide right here. In order to use this inference engine, you'll have to, of course, to be finding some open source models that you can use. There's a really, really big service, and the main service today that offers open source problems is called the Hugging Face. Maybe you heard about it. It's not the only thing that they do, but they're mostly known for that. And you can check any models that are on the GGUF format. You can use directly with the LamaC++. It's actually so impressive to have this tool running directly on the device. You just say, okay, use this model right here, and then you're making LLM inference directly on your device. So pretty interesting. And I didn't find anyone who actually made like the native bindings, because you can, of course, you can integrate the solution inside of Android, but you have to be doing like NDK coding, programming, and so on. Again, for the Flutter community, I saw some people who do that. For Android community, I didn't find any examples, but totally feasible if you'd like to be interacting with the native code with the Android and NDK. There's also Ollama. Ollama is, if I'm not mistaken, built by Mozilla, also allowing you to be running models in your device. And here I found someone who has built Android clients. The difference with this one is that I think you also have to launch a server in your Android app in order to host the Ollama service. So this is actually what you see right here. But so really, really interesting as well. I really encourage you to look at this example so you can see what you can do on device. So last but not least, when I was doing my research, I found this app. There is Dr. Dignity that is available on GitHub. And this person, he wants to make like a chatbot that is helping people with medical advice. And right now, and he wants to make it work in a cross-platform way. And right now he has something that is working for iOS. Oh, sorry. When I say cross-platform, I'm not talking about the app. I'm talking about the solution. He wants an AI solution that is working everywhere. The app itself that he's building is a native app. It's a native Android, native iOS, and so on. And I think it was really interesting because if you look at his repo, you can see everything that all the steps. He actually also has a YouTube video where he shows everything that you have to do in order to be doing a local offline inference specialized on what he wants to do. And the main tech solution that he uses right here is this one that is the only example that I found of someone really using it, is the Tensor virtual machine. So again, if you're interested in this area, please take a look. It's really interesting. He has an work in an iOS app. He's still working on the Android one. And everything is open source. So to summarize on this local category, several options. Each one has really its own stack. Since we're going local, and since we're relying heavily on GPU calls for this, because again, we're talking about running AI and running GenAI on your devices. You really have to have some really low code or really tools that are interacting with directly your architecture, your CPU, GPU, and so on, or other TPU, for example. You saw maybe, okay, she didn't talk about Gemini Nano. Gemini Nano is the official solution from Google to be running Gemini offline. But the thing is, it's not available today, it's still on preview, and it's so restricted because it doesn't rely either on the CPU or the GPU, from my understanding. It relies on another unit, so only the Pixel 8 Pro and Samsung 24 family users can use it, but I just say it so you know it is out there. And to summarize everything that I told you today, so basically this is the steps that you take when in your path on becoming GenAI developer, I don't know. So first of all, you have fun, you build prompts and so on, and you learn how this thing works. Then you say, okay, interesting, let's go further, let's build a better prompt, or maybe integrate in your current workflow. Then you can try out the APIs, the SDKs to run it, to make the calls from your phone. But again, this is not the recommended way to do so. Do it so you can think of use cases, you can see how you can integrate it in your app. You can do. You can also use Firebase Extensions in order to indirectly call Gemini. And then, if you really want to build serious GenAI solutions, you either go into the cloud, relying on some cloud service, or you're running locally with one or several of the options of the technologies that I just showed you. But just to finish, I think it was. I had so much fun trying out. I tried out a bunch of those solutions. So impressive to see what we can actually run locally. So really encourage you to take a look on one of several solutions that I show you today. And finally, to finish, there are a bunch of other AI, ML, and GenAI talks or sessions today. So here are the ones, there's someone talking about, actually the developer from Google talking about MediaPipe, talking about TensorFlow, AI, and some, I think Valmy, he's talking about ML as well, and Gemini, and then some office hours as well. And that's it for me. Thank you. And again, don't hesitate. Twitter link.